Nkechi. So Nkechi Nwafo Robinson
This meeting is being recorded.
All right. So Nkechi Nwafo Robinson is an award-winning technology executive with over 25 years of experience in technology. She's currently Associate Vice President, Technology Solutions at TD Bank Group. She's founder and CEO of Empowered in My Skin, author, professional bodybuilder, host of Empowered in My Skin podcast, and an inspirational speaker with speeches that have been viewed over 10 million times worldwide. She has received numerous awards for her leadership prowess and community involvement. Most notably in 2020, nominated by TD Bank Group, she was awarded Women Executive Network Most Powerful Woman Canada Top 100. Additionally, for work she has done in her community, she has been awarded 2022 Women in Tech Excellence Award by Nigerian IT Professional in Canada, NIMCA, 2021 Community Personality by Network. All right, I'm still coming. All right, so let me keep going. 2021 Community Personality by Network of Nigerians in Canada, NNC, and 2021 Power of Inclusion Leadership by Council of Nigerian Professionals, CNP. She is an outstanding light to our world, from maths to technology, from professional athlete to public speaker. Nkechi has conquered some of life's toughest challenges. She's a leader of leaders and a voice for the voiceless. I'm super excited to have here with us God's own gift.
Can I add something to my bio? Can I add something? Am I allowed to add breaking news? Yeah.
Add it, Nkechi. Let's go.
Osita has heard this already, but just breaking news. I always say keep adding commas behind your name. Don't ever put a period where a comma belongs. I have resigned from TD.
Wow. So where next?
That is news.
I should say I tried to resign early October, but I officially, So it hasn't even been announced yet. Can you imagine that's how? So I would say this. I would say that when you have made an impact on an organization like TD, I feel very humbled and honored about at the level of, like, I got a call right from the big guy in 10 minutes of within 30 minutes, I would say, of them learning that I had resigned and they wouldn't allow it. So it's something to be said, and I will share some of those secrets of success today. And I am going on to take on a VP role in technology at another organization. Yeah.
Wow.
Incredible.
Wow. Like you said, never put a full stop. Keep going.
Congratulations once again.
Congratulations
once again.
Nice. TD, they will feel the impact.
And you know, Nkechi, just to say this, you know, the first time I ever heard about you, it was from somebody you had referred to TD, and he just told me about you, and then I checked you up on LinkedIn. I mean, you've been helping a lot of people. Like, you're actually a household name. People take a lot about you, like, oh man, if you reach out to Nkechi, she's always willing to. And then I saw you at Evolve, and you know, what got me inspired was your laughter. Like, oh my God, you know, I had to come to you, and then we had that conversations, and you were taking selfie. Like, the energy and love that comes through is just, I mean, it's tremendous, you know.
Awesome. So let's spread some of that today, because let's talk about the end in mind. I know you asked, everyone was asked, you know, how do you feel in this moment? But I want everyone to, how do you want to feel at the end? Tell Osita, tell Jesse, tell I, how do you actually want to leave this call? Just whatever it is, like whatever, put something in the chat, new tips, and I want to feel empowered. Like start with the end in mind. How do you actually want to leave this call? Because that will then inform how you pay attention.
Absolutely. That's a nugget. Let's keep it going. So, Nkechi, to start with, why they do that, you know, I've been, you know, I've dug deep, and, you know, each time I listen to your speeches, you know, everything, and sometimes I just have these goosebumps. So tell us, from that 6-year-old girl, you know, in Montreal, Canada in 1978 with her parents, you know, and from there on to becoming a living legend. Tell us, what are the secrets of your success?
Wow. So I'm gonna say probably the biggest lesson that I've learned. And then after that, everything else, every success is what you define it. Okay. I'll just be honest with you. Success is what you define it. And if you right now do not think that you are successful, then we need to have a conversation. Okay. So so the first thing and foremost is you actually need to know who you are. And just listen to the way I say that word. When I say actually, like when I say you actually need to know who you are, it means that you got to do the work. Like the emphasis on actually, you need to know who you are. And if you are, I'll give you an example. If you have had a situation this week that pissed you off, then you don't know who you are.
Wow. Wow. Okay, that's deep.
I'm going to say that again. If you've had a
situation, go deeper.
If you've had a situation, because a lot of people are like, oh, I know who I am. Okay, I'll be like, did somebody piss you off this week? And you'd be like, yeah, you don't know who you are. When you know who you are, honestly, when you know who you are, people can't piss you off. People offer up situations or circumstances that will enable you to use it as a character building moment. But when you're pissed off, they didn't piss you off. When you answer that, yeah, someone pissed me off this week. I said, no, they didn't piss you off. They said something that connected with something that you have not explored within you. And that then led to whatever emotion you felt. You actually need to know who you are. And if you don't know who you are, the challenge is then you don't actually know when you've hit success.
You're absolutely right. I mean, I've heard someone said that, the longest journey you can ever take is the journey inward. So Nkechi, I want you to dive into that clarity. Like, how do we get to that point of clarity? Because I do know that some of the two keys to success is clarity and discipline. So tell us, let's dive deeper into the clarity.
Yeah, I think I saw my boy, Chris. He's on the call, right? Chris Mwokota. Is he? No?
Chris, are you there?
Is he there? Shukuma? No? I thought I saw him. Okay, so he would know some of it. So the first and foremost, everyone needs to write this down. Results are in the routine. Okay. And so what I mean by that is I will share some tips from my blueprint. But my blueprint may not necessarily fit you. There might be something in my blueprint that sort of, you have to, I think life always presents a lot of, I call them tickles, these things that, you do, ooh, or you're like, ooh, that was a mic drop, and sometimes we talk, that's a mic drop, and then we do nothing with the mic drop. Like we just say, oh, that's a mic drop, and then you go about your business, and you don't realize that mic drop was actually for you to change your life. Okay. How many times do we go to these? You know what I mean? Like, you get what I'm saying? So my blueprint is my blueprint. And I'm not saying you, and if you try to take my blueprint and go and execute it in your life, you're going to fail. Sure. But there are things in my blueprint, yes, that, might make sense beside some of the stuff that you will get from Osita, or for stuff that you will get from yourself, or stuff that you'll get from Jesse, or stuff you'll get from Gail. And my blueprint is a collection of all of the giants and experiences and circumstances and situations and character building moments that I've had that work for me. But the key is the results are in the routine. The key is, how is my blueprint serving me every single day? Right. And so as you are on this journey for life, and if it's about getting to know who you are, it is a day-to-day experience. Like, I love what you said, Jesse, like there's no end. I discovered more of who I am after my dad passed like 190 something days ago. Right. Yeah. I probably would still be at TD. But it's that journey and that evolution that I realized, oh no, my time at TD is actually done, and it was no longer, the organization was no longer big enough for me, you know what I mean? And where I was as a human being. And so it's time to move, and so that requires how did I get that? I got that from my eyes pop open in the morning, and immediately I just smile. I smile in the darkness. I thought Chris is on the call. I was going to ask him to remember some of the stuff. And then I get, this is no word of a lie. I get off my bed. I pick up a pillow. I get down on my knees and I pray. I open up the Bible app. And so I use the Bible app. And one of the things I love about the Bible app is that they have gamification. And so I can actually see how many days I'm truthful to my routine. And right now it's 344 consecutive days. There was one day I went to Niagara Falls. I don't know what happened. I must have woke up in the morning. I was in a new bed and I totally missed doing that part of my routine. But it keeps me accountable to making sure that I don't miss a day. There is no, like, look at that. After today, I don't know if anybody put this in the chat in terms of what you want to feel. I think nobody said they want to be a Kia at the end of this conversation, right? I want to be a Bentley. Bentleys do not go on sale. So there's no days off from getting to the place where, yeah, it's true, right? Bentleys never go on sale. You never see, oh yeah. Trust me, Bentleys don't go on sale. They don't. I keep checking, but
absolutely.
Absolutely. But it's true. So there's got to be no days off. So how are you keeping yourself accountable? And what kind of tools and mechanisms are you setting for yourself that says no matter it, because it's never about your feelings. Getting to know who you are, your feelings have absolutely nothing to do with it. And so, you wake up in the morning, it just has to be like, doesn't matter how you feel. It matters your character and the integrity that you want to uphold yourself to. Right. And then, and so I do that. And then I make my bed, because I think making your bed in the morning is really important. Right. It's apparently if you make your bed within the first X minute is very accomplished. You're more likely to have an accomplished day, by the way. And then I get in front of the mirror. And by this time, my husband's already out of the room. He's downstairs or gone to do his meditation and stuff like that. And I look in the mirror and I see this person, me, looking back at me. And I wasn't always able to do this, but results are in the routine. And I look at her and I say affirmations. I let her know the day that she's going to create. I let her know how she's going to show up. I let her know about how much greatness is going to come to her. I give her permission to be positive. I give her permission to be bold. I give her permission to feel rested and know that she's properly supported. I do that for myself. And the reason why is because just as I'm a flawed human, everyone I'm going to come in contact today is flawed. And everyone I come in contact with every single day is living their own life. And I cannot leave it to chance that you are going to show up in my best interest today.
Wow.
And so therefore, I need to protect my human. We leave our home every single day unprotected. And what do I mean by that? We haven't prayed, right? And we certainly haven't spoken to ourselves to say, no matter what happens today, this is the human you're going to be. Right? You don't realize it, but the amount of thoughts that we have in our head every single day, I think they said there's something like 70,000 thoughts or something like that. And 70% of them are negative.
Okay.
Absolutely.
And so you need to over-index on the positivity, because this thing that we call a mind is our battleground. And most of us don't own it. Right? You need to be a warrior in your own battleground. Most of us have gunshots going off in our head, right? And so talk to yourself every single day. You need to talk to yourself in the morning. And then after that, y'all know, I get myself ready and I get my ass to the gym. But let's just be real. Do I feel like it? What did I say? It has nothing to do with feelings. I don't go to the gym because I feel like it. I go to the gym because of the person and the human that I know I want to be in this world has a requirement that they put their body through extreme trials and resistance and whatever to test it, to push its limits, to get it ready for battle. That's why I do it. It's not because I
Wow.
feel like it, but it's because I know who I am and I know who I'm becoming and I know who I desire to be and I know the vision I have in my life. And one of my non-negotiables is that I need to be in great shape in order to be able to accomplish that. Right. And so that's why I go.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow. Wow.
And then, right.
Go ahead.
I must learn something that I can then impart on somebody by 8 o'clock in the morning. So a lot of times, if you see a post, let's just say some days I don't, but if you see a post come on LinkedIn early in the morning, it's because there's something I learned. And when you learn, when you get, you give, when you learn, you teach. And I was teaching it through a message, something that spoke to me. And that's when, and on the mornings when you don't see anything on social media, somebody on my team got it, or my husband got it, or a friend of mine got it, but somebody got something by 8 o'clock in the morning.
Wow. Wow.
And that's just,
so you give early in the
8.
morning, you start your giving, you give something out.
That's just by 8. Yeah, I've either listened to, I typically have like motivational Mondays, technology Tuesdays, wellness Wednesdays, technology Thursdays, fitness, so I listen to things related to how I want to learn for the day. Now, I mean, obviously I'm getting ready for a new job, so I'm listening to, different podcasts or, it depends what it is, but it's, I'm learning something, like there's something I've learned, either from the Bible app or from, a Gartner conference that I'm listening to or whatever. But between the 4:10 and 8 o'clock in the morning, yes, there's learning that goes on there. And
Absolutely.
I always share something with somebody. Never fails.
So I mean, you start your morning with love, share something with somebody, like you get to give, something. I mean, that's super amazing. And from what you just said, I mean, just some of the things you said, results are in the routine, mirror affirmations, starting your day well by doing.
I wake up at 4,
like getting your bed fixed, and then feeling is not important for success.
Yeah.
4. Wow. I remember I was in Eric Thomas.
So I have to interrupt. I saw somebody. Okay. So everyone always asks me, it's so funny, eh? What time do you get up? I get up at 4:10 in the morning. The next question always is, what time do you go to sleep? And I said, it doesn't matter. I get up at 4:10 in the morning.
Wow.
Yeah. And so
that's important.
Yeah. I don't, because a lot of times people are like, oh, but you must go to bed at like 9:30. No, it doesn't matter what time I go to bed. I get up at 4:10 in the morning. Do I get enough sleep? No. Do I get enough sleep? No. Yesterday, for example, I went to bed at 11:30 but I got up at 4:10 in the morning, because it's about your integrity. 4:10 is my wake up call. That's it. It has nothing to do with when I go to sleep. That's why my energy has nothing to do with sleep. I tell people all the time. And I'm not saying, again, remember, this is my blueprint. But what I would tell you is it's about consistency. So 4:10 may not be your time, but what is it? And if it's 6 o'clock, I'll tell you it's a little late.
Wow, great. So okay, let's dive deeper. Let's dive deeper into more questions.
No, wait, but hold on. But the reason I'm going to tell you why it's 6 o'clock, because the majority of the billionaires and like billionaires in this world are up by 3:30, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock. There's something about the 5 a.m. club. And if you're not in that
5 a.m. club.
Yeah, at least be in the 5 a.m. club. There's something about success. I don't know what it is. It's a proven theory. Most millionaires write about it. And so if you're getting up at 6, you're late. You're late.
Absolutely. I mean, I personally, I get up by 5:15. There was a time I used to get up by 4:30, but it didn't work for me. So I pushed it to 5:15. But I mean, I've stuck to 5:15 for about 2 years now. And it really works for me, because when you wake up early, everyone is still sleeping. It's still very quiet. I mean, that's when I assimilate most. That's when I read most. I try to do exercises. Trust me, push-ups, 5 reps. Sometimes I get to it, sometimes I don't get to it. But at least I get the 5:15, and then I get to read something positive in the morning, because that really keeps me all through the day, And so, Nkechi, some people will be saying in their mind, like, for you to get to this point, what are the resources that you think that people can just like pick into, right away, as a community, that they can just begin to tap into right away, right now, that can keep the spirit going, because I mean, there's a saying, motivation will get you started, but habit will keep you going. What do you think they can like begin to grab right now, you know, that
So
can help them?
I will tell you this. I can't express it enough. I can come here and I can give you, I mean, if I were to just pan my camera around, like, first of all, your environment matters. So one of the things that I would encourage everybody is to look around their environment, right? And so I'll share a couple of quick things, okay? So for example, I have this sticky, literally, I just pulled it off the screen and it says, you may not be able to read it, but it says, it has become a habit to make myself joyful at all times. Okay, so I see that every single. Then I have another sticky over here that says, I want your day better. I want your day to be better simply because I was here, right? And then that's
wow.
And then I have these cards that I pull every single day. So this one says, you get to decide where you give your time and attention. And then it gives you a little bit of like something to think about for the day and a question to think about and answer. So I do that. Then if I look over here, I'm a descendant of greatness. You know, I have the mama mentality. I have all these affirmations on my wall. You know, those two pictures are not just art. They actually have meaning. That one's called the Kandake, the woman above all women in countenance and power. And that one is Myra. And she's badass, but she's a side-eye chick, you know? And so you ask yourself, why are they there? I'll tell you why they're there. I had a problem recognizing my own value. And ever since we were on my office looked so much differently at the beginning of COVID. And it was dark. Like I think there's a picture, there's these wonderful ladies that I mentored gifted me with like a trophy and a picture. And at that time I had this, if you go and look at the video, you'll see the furniture that I had in there. It was big, it was clunky, it was dark and all this and the other. And I knew that my mind, I was lacking creativity. I was feeling, you know, a little bit depressed. And I was like, oh, this is not good. And so I realized that the environment I was in wasn't motivating me. And so I remember one day, it was just that making that decision. It clicked in, I understood that. I went on Kijiji. The furniture sold so quickly and I totally forgot we're in COVID. Of course, people need furniture. And then because office furniture, right? Sold it like quick, chair, everything sold. And luckily I got like the last sit-stand desk at B-Star. I bought the sit-stand desk because I wanted to create an open space. I went and bought a nice red chair at IKEA to add some color. And then I put those pictures up behind me. Why? Because they're pictures of power. And I knew that as I was looking in my camera every single day, I knew that at some point or other, the power that was coming off those pictures would infect me. And they would give me the motivation, the inspiration, the fortitude, the strength that I need to sometimes sit in some of these meetings that I have to sit to from a position of power. Yeah. I have my vision board over there. Obviously I have my bookshelf, which has a whole bunch of great books and reads and this and the other. But the point I'm trying to make is you need to surround your environment matters. So, you know, everyone look around the places that you work and you occupy the most. What do they say? If I were to just come to your house, like if, you know, I used to do this a lot more. People would pay me. I'd come to their house and I would, you know, it used to be about their cupboards and cleaning up their cupboards and helping them to sort of make their environment a little bit more healthy. But like your work environment, you know, we would sit down and we would talk about how you're feeling. And then we start thinking about, well, you know, you need these are some things that you kind of need in the environment, but your environment is so important. Okay. And so, you know, that would be really important for everybody because your environment isn't feeding you, you're going to feel heavy. You get what I'm saying? So think about that. That's about motivation. And then the other thing I will definitely, I mean, you know, you have to start to think about what you're putting into your, you know, what your gates, right? Like, you know, what's feeding your eye gates, your ear gates, your mouth gate. You know, be very mindful of that. You know, do you listen to a lot of news? Do you listen to a lot of music? If so, what kind of music? Like, so start to think about what you're seeing, what you're hearing, what you're eating, that kind of stuff. Because all of that feeds your motivation, right? Whether you like to believe it or not. Some of us don't even drink water every day. Do you know hydration can help you with your positivity and how you feel and clarity? When you don't when you don't drink water, and let me just tell you something, your pee should be clear. I know we're not supposed to be talking about pee maybe on this call, maybe no. I don't think you've
No, I mean, it's all in one. It's all in one.
I don't think you've had a speaker that talks
It's
about
all in
pee.
one. It's a master class. It's all in one.
Right, but it's an
Keep going.
indicator of health. And what we're talking about when you talk about motivation, motivation is a health meter. Yeah.
Wow.
And so it's just, just really think about that, your gates. And then the other thing I would say, you talked about the mind and the battleground, is we have a lot more control. Well, you're about your thought life, and you have a lot more control over your thought life than you actually think or imagine. Right. And I think that the best way to improve your thought life is to actually speak to yourself. You want to speak so much, you want to speak such good things to yourself, so much so that your mind actually starts to repeat that stuff at rest, at play, just subconsciously. I don't know how to tell somebody to have a good day, because good doesn't feel good. Just doesn't. I always say great day, because I conditioned myself to say great day. Yeah, I conditioned myself to say how awesome are you? When somebody asks, hey, Ink, how you doing? Oh my God, I'm awesome. I'm fantastic. I'm searching for like the most positive word to express what I want to feel in that moment, but that takes practice, but it's just consistency. So your thought life is going to be informed. Go ahead. Mm-hmm.
And you know what's even more amazing is that even in your writing, I see that too. Like when you responded to an email, there's so much positivity in the email that you responded. The trademark there and some of the things you wrote. I'm like, wow. I'm like, it's like Nkechi's talking to me from the email right away. Like when I received it. So I mean, it's great to see that energy comes from everywhere. Like you've made it a part of you. But like, for example, I mean, we have some students here who are still like, within that career time in their life. They are working, they're schooling, and they're trying to make a decision, how to navigate their career path. What advice do you have for these students who are here with us?
About how to navigate their career path. Yeah. So that's an interesting one. So, I mean, I know that I just had really bad advice when I was a student, but it's in large part because of my environment. I grew up with white people who didn't think that Black people could do much. Right? So, but I had really great parents, and so that helped, and then, but it's funny because I think about my nieces, and there's a big spider on my wall. And I think about my nieces, and I would say that, and I want to say this in a very, you don't have to have it all figured out right now. Right? But you need to have some direction, right? Like I do hear like, we use the word purpose and all this and the other, right? And so, but I don't know what that means, when I'm hearing them use it. Like I think I think they get caught up in like something like it's going to come to you, like, oh, it's going to come to me and this and the other. And I would say like, it really starts from what impact do you want to have on this world? Like, and don't think about it at the end of your life, just today, right? Because sometimes we can't even articulate that. And we're trying to think about what we want to do in our careers. Because if you kind of get what I'm saying, because I'll just give you a perfect example. When I showed up at TD, I had a big ego. Why? Because up until then, I had all these amazing career roles and all this and the other and blah, 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 blah. And they came and they found me and we negotiated a great salary and, all of this talk about becoming an executive and right? And so I came in with like, all that swag and all that kind of stuff and the other. And then 2.5 years in, this exec role that was been promised to me, became available, but, all the people that had promised it to me were gone. And the person that the VP I was reporting to at the time didn't look like he was gonna give it to me. Look at the word I use, give it, right? And it crushed me. Oh God, it was horrible. I became this horrible person. I'm almost embarrassed to tell you this story. And then I was like, they're gonna make me apply for this role? Like, how, me? And then at the same time, okay, because remember, like that, I'm this person who has this ego. My marriage is like falling apart as well. And I was like, oh my God, life is like this is horrible. What's going on with my life, And it was my rock bottom. I'm making jokes of it now, but it was my rock bottom. Things weren't going well in my relationship at home. So I didn't even have peace in my own home. And my career was like, I was not seen. Like, it's almost like I didn't matter, And it's a girlfriend of mine who really did the whole come to Jesus moment. She says, your ego's a little much. I think you're too much for yourself right now. And I think you need to do some soul searching, because that just doesn't sit well with me. Like, your spirit doesn't feel healthy and clean. And that's when I found that book, A Return to Love. And it was in my return to love, and Return to Love, just for everyone, if anyone hasn't read, it's a really interesting concept. Talks about how babies are born into love. We learn hate. And if we can learn hate, then we can unlearn it also. And so I share all of this because until you return to that place where it's not marred by what people have said about you, or what, whatever armors and all this, and it'll be hard for you to really know, am I doing and pursuing the right things in my life? Right? So this is just another way of saying, get to know yourself, really, like actually get to know yourself, Absolutely. And that's really important. So forget about purpose. It's really about, am I operating from a place of love, from clarity? Do I feel like I'm operating from clarity? If you're operating from clarity, then yes, you have a better likelihood to really start to understand the things that you want to do, like the things that interest you and the things that excite you. And you're not going to be influenced by external suggestions or this, that, and the other. It's really going to come from just an innate passion that you have for things that you want to do or who you want to become. And so for me, what happened was, it wasn't about what I wanted to do. For me, what really came out for me is who I wanted to be. And when I went back to say, it's just, who do you want to be? Like if you think about how you want to say you've lived this life, it matters how you live every single moment. And so who do you want to be at the end of experiences, or at the end of the day that you have, right? And for me, it was less about, some people say, I want to be a doctor and save people. That's fine, whatever it is. For me, it was like, I want to help people think in ways that are empowering. And that's why I came up with Empowered in My Skin, because empowered people empower people, right? And there's nothing more important than that you were that lead domino to help somebody else empower their lives. And in turn, they're going to have this domino effect, and your reach is exponential. Yeah. And so therefore I said, but that's not what I'm doing at TD. Yeah. And that's where I said, okay, now that I know that that's what I can do, and I believe that that lights me up when I think about that, and I just decided that I was going to change the way I operated at work, right? And I said, I am now going to use my life to empower all of the 90,000 employees and 26, nobody asked me. But I said, shoot, I'm there all the time anyway. Why don't I do something, And that's when it had nothing to do with what I did. It was just about who I wanted to be and so as we think about success, for me, success really comes from, I I felt success the minute I walked onto this call. And not because of the bio you read, but because Osita, who this is his life, like he's so passionate about NIPCA, right? And look what he's done and accomplished. And NIPCA is on the map. And he asked me to come here this evening to share some wisdom with you. That's success, right? And so just really start to think about some of that. And so for me, I literally one day said, okay, I'm not an employee anymore at TD. I am deployed to TD by God, I believe, to empower that community of humans. And that's how I knew 11 years later that my time was done.
Wow, great.
And
great.
So that's and when you understand that, then you start to navigate your career. And it's less about, and it becomes less about where people place you or things that you, and it's just you are going to, it is going to open up for you. You will just really start to understand what you're good and you're passionate about. But then along the way, what you want to also do is over and above that, I'll get a little bit theoretical here, is you will learn a lot from other people. Like you will see people that are doing things that you really, really love. And you will start to connect with them. And then you'll start to understand more and more about what they're doing. And you'll get nuggets about that might interest you. That might create avenues for you to explore as it relates to your career. So young people, you need to start mentoring now. You need to start looking at what some people are doing in this world and ask yourself, wow, can I imagine myself doing that? And if so, then you should be reaching out and saying, hey, I'd like to have a conversation with you to understand your journey a little bit better. And always ask them about what made them get started. And what is their actual mission? Because that's what you really want to start understanding, is how do people articulate their mission and their vision for their lives? Because unfortunately, I'll be honest with you, a lot of people to this day can't. They can't state their brand. They can't state their vision. They can't state a mission for their lives. Yeah. So as you start meeting these people, those are some standard questions. So start to see how other people unlock their vision and mission. Mine is very simple. I want to help 1 billion people. 1 billion is my number. Think in ways that are empowering. I want to create 1 billion lead dominoes in this world for empowerment.
Great.
Yeah.
Great. So, Nkechi, that's super powerful. I mean, everything you've said here it's like a bestseller already. I mean, you could write a book out of it, right away and just push it right away into the market. So, I mean, you talked a bit about mentorship, and I do want you to time into that mentorship. There are a lot of people who, are thinking right now. If I want mentorship, I do know NIMCA do offer some kind of mentorship too, but they're also thinking right now and saying, because I do know you also have a mentorship program for women. I'm not sure if you have anything for men. I don't know if you do have for men, because you shouldn't leave your brothers out of this, So, what can they begin to look out for in terms of mentorship? It could be with you, or resources that that could definitely help them, because sometimes the challenge is that sometimes people are not willing to put a lot of effort to find it. And that's why NIMCA brings them closer to the people that can actually also help them with this. So are there some mentorship that that presently that you're running through that could benefit both women and men? I do know you have something for women.
So what's really funny, what is really funny is I never ever articulated that my mentorship was for women. But here's what I will tell you. Okay. I'm gonna break this down really quickly. I did a case study. So there was an event that I was asked to speak at, okay? And the flyer for this event had a white woman on it, okay? And then I also ran an event with my best friend, Miss Julie Black, and we were both on our flyers, so 2 Black women, okay? And people automatically assumed that our event was for Black women. And then when I showed them the other event, which Mo Hagan was on, I said, what do you think this woman? They said all women. So men see a woman on a flyer and assume that the mentoring is for women. But the wording doesn't say all women show that, right? So again, it's our eyes deceive us a lot of times. Yeah. And so my mentoring has never been just for women. Just
absolutely correct. You're absolutely correct on that.
Okay.
Yeah,
but I also do recognize that marketing is important. And so I've now tried to make it more gender neutral. So, and then the other thing I would say, this is just more so, you're hearing it here first. It's in honor for my dad. My dad was an electrical engineer. And I'm going to, once I transition out of what I'm doing now, every second Monday, I'm going to open up my calendar. So I'm going to open up mentoring office hours for aspiring engineers. Yeah. And I'm just going to, the hours will be between 5 and either 6:30 or 7 o'clock. And there will be a calendar link and I will mentor within those hours for free, like just a give back. Yeah. To really help and encourage. I'm hoping women show up, but to encourage all engineers to really, to not only just do the academic stuff, but to also really prepare them for entering into the workforce and getting themselves ready and this, that, and the other. Yeah. But yeah, mentorship is really important. I think also one really key thing is you need to know what you need to be mentored and the kind of relationship that you need, because there's so many different relationships, right? So for example, I literally have had mentoring where I mapped it out. I reached out to the person, I need 4 sessions with you on this topic. Okay. Because there was something I wanted to learn really quickly. And I didn't want to do the book academics. I wanted to do the experiential. I wanted experience. I wanted to understand. I wanted hands-on, that kind of stuff. And I wanted them to show me how to write a business case. You know what I mean? Like, so there could be mentoring that's very, very specific to something certain, something that you need to learn. Then there's the, I think it always helps to have a mentor that you can hit up no matter whatever's going on in your life. Yeah. And that's going to be a longer term relationship that, you probably would have one of those. And then so the point I'm trying to make is mentorship, a lot, like we go into mentorship relationships or we go into the whole space of mentorship, sometimes very, very narrowly focused. And I really want to tell everyone again, create your blueprint for what your mentoring support for your life needs to look like. And don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. And there's no one way to have a great mentoring. Like sometimes my mentoring just happens in an elevator ride. You know what I mean? I run into somebody really quick and I was like, yo, I know you're really good at this. And I just want to pick your brain for a hot second while, and then you just ask the question on the fly. That's mentorship. So don't complicate it so much about, the more you can uncomplicate things in your life, the just easier life gets, just by the way, FYI. So yeah, so start to think about mentorship as not just this daunting thing where you have to reach out to somebody in an email. You got to ask them, would you be my mentor? You got to set up a relationship and all this and the other. It could be as simple as a conversation. It could be as simple as a question. It could be as simple as, something very specific. I need 4 sessions with you to really understand how to do this, how to do A. And it could be a longer relationship, somebody that's always got your back and they just can reach out whenever, blah, 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 right? So mentorship's important. Right? Coaching and is important. And there's a difference between mentoring and coaching, but mentorship is absolutely important. You talk about the blueprint of success, you need a mentor or mentors. Absolutely. Or this, any other. And so, I mean, I'll be honest with you, most of my so here's how I know I always have mentoring, because I want to be the most junior person in the room with my girlfriends. Right. So, I mean, not shameless plug, but Claudette McGowan, Carolyn Gale, Colleen Ward are like they're just on my speed dial. And anytime I'm with them, all 4 of them typically at the same time, all 3 of them at the same time. I'm the only N, they're all C's. Watch, it's funny. It's a mentoring haven. You know what I mean? Like, and so the people I surround myself with, are mentoring me and coaching me and just pushing me and striving me. And that's elevation, constant elevation, And so that's also mentoring, right? The people that you have available to you that you just kind of hang out with, right? So just demystify mentorship and the relationship you have with mentoring.
Absolutely, very deep. Demystify it, know when you want it, who you want it from, and then go for it. I mean, that helps solve the challenge that comes with mentorship. Because sometimes, I mean, you could go through mentorship and then you find out at the end of the day it's not even profitable. It's not what you wanted. So you have to get it right even before you start.
Yes.
So Kechi, I have another question for you. It's for new immigrants, new professionals living their home, from everywhere, different places with high hopes, looking forward to the Canadian dream, high expectations, and then they come in and find out that, I mean, they are limited. Some of the things, they thought would happen right away are not happening, and their dreams begin to feel like it's unachievable. Things like culture shock, accent, systematic racism, Canadian experience, and unemployment hits them to the face. How do you think they can, push back, stay strong, go towards their career paths and begin to harness their full potentials?
So, so again, this is experience. This is experience that I've had. Okay. And, I don't know how many times I've had this conversation, but a lot of times when I'm speaking with immigrants, I think, and it took me a while to really unlock the code, but a lot of times, I have to ask them metaphorically to go back just take themselves back to the country that they came from, they immigrated from, and find where they left the person that lived there and the experience that they had and the greatness that they walked with. Okay. And then I want them to reconnect with that person and come back to the position where they are now, whole. Because I'll say this, no matter how many times you have to start over, you're never starting from scratch. I'm going to say that again. No matter how many times you have to start over, you're never starting from scratch. And unfortunately, we come here and like, oh my God, I have to start all over. You're not starting all over. And at NIPCA, why is his name escaping me? Alex Ihana.
Alexi Hama. Yeah, Alexi
when
Hama.
I say like that, he's like, brah, 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 like that guy for me is like, oh my God. I mean, I can't even do it justice how he does it, but he is so true. We diminish ourselves simply because we're immigrants. I don't get that. There are some Canadians that have never left Pickering to go downtown. No, it's true. You think I'm lying? I have a friend who hasn't been downtown for 12 years. I'm like, dude, you live in Pickering. So and you came from Nigeria. And so that I say that first. I'm not trying to be cheeky about it, but it's important because on the journey to knowing thyself, I'm gonna do this buffering thing. None of anything you've been through can be left out of the equation. None of it. Okay. And so I say that because even me that, lives here, born here, like nothing, not the racism I've experienced, not the bullying I had to go through, not the no's I've received, nothing can be left out of the equation. That's your power place. Until you tell me that you are standing in front of me and feeling in a position of power, forget about Forget about the job, forget about whatever it is that you're striving. I just say, just you on your own, without anything external. Like, jobs are external, positions are external, titles are external. Are you feeling like you're in a position of power? Is power emanating from you? That's number one. Because if you don't feel that, if you feel shaky, then it's because this external world is swaying, and then you have to stabilize yourself. And if you're not stable, it's because part of you is missing. I promise you. I promise you. The minute you are whole, you're in the seat of empowerment. I promise you. I promise you. And if anyone wants to be
self-discovery is key.
It actually
it actually is everything. Like it's 50% of the work.
Yes, I'm telling you.
No one is saying bra bra bra.
Yes, because I do this. If you go on my Instagram or even my LinkedIn, I did this belief test the other day. And I've done that with my mentees. They're like, yeah, but I am. I said, okay, let's do the belief test right now. And half of the time I can move their arms down. It means that you're not when you are unshakable, you are more likely to tell somebody what you want. You get what I'm saying? When you are unshakable, you are in your position of clarity. When you're unshakable, you know your worth and you will go and ask for it. And so most of the time, it starts from there. You are not operating from a position of power, and it has nothing to do with you not getting a job. It has everything to do with you're not whole, and something external is feeding lies to you that's preventing you from feeling whole. And if there's anything that's been very thematic about the emphasis and everything I have said, everything starts from self-identity. You cannot achieve beyond your belief. And it makes me emotional because it took my dad passing for me to have this journey to get to a place where I'm able to tell a company like TD, who's offering me something that's probably, they could have matched the money. We never talked about money. They knew it wasn't about money. And say, you know what? Not now. I said, change is tough this was my response to them. I said, change is tough for most people because they can only see what they stand to lose. In this particular situation, I can only see what I stand to gain. And it's way more exciting than what I stand to lose.
Wow.
I have never, ever stood in my power the way that I have today in taking this role and actually saying bye to this organization.
Wow. So
I'm not just saying these things. I've lived it. I understand it. I know who Nkechi is when she's on shaky footing. And so I'm just letting you know it is so important. Nothing in your life can be left out of this equation. That's number one. And number two, if you're feeling like you're just not getting that job and you don't belong and I'm not discounting them as unreal feelings, but I like to submit for your consideration that is because you're lacking wholeness and parts of you are missing from the equation. And I'm saying nothing can be missed. And the minute you believe that you can achieve, I promise you, it's going to come.
Wow, awesome. Thank you so much, Nkechi. Audience, if you're listening, kindly drop questions. Let's ask Nkechi more questions. This time I want to take from the audience, Nkechi, we still have Nkechi for another 20-25 minutes. We could definitely take your questions. Nkechi, why they write out their question? I believe that people should learn more from successes as much as they learn from mistakes and failures. tell us about some mistakes, failures that you can share with us that you think that people who, within their career path, mid-level management, just starting up, that they could just learn from and leverage on and say, you know what, I'm not going to take this path because Nkechi said it's not profitable. And I think it is not, because she has walked that path before. That can help people, because sometimes, we're like, let's take what's easy. Let's do this. But learning from people's failures, definitely helps lead us to even a clearer path. So share with us.
That's such an interesting, I find that always so interesting to answer. Because I can share. So have I failed?
Mistakes. Sometimes failures is called learning, right? So we could tilt it to learning.
So here's what I would say. I'm just going to be really honest. Like, I have to just be really transparent, because I will still try to get an example. But if I made mistakes, if I've made mistakes, but where I am on today, I'm completely excited about, was it a mistake? I just want to shop that around.
Very, very, very good question, Nkechi. So we could call it perhaps things you learned, or things that, or let's say things you felt like maybe you should have done at any point. It could just be mistakes. It might not be failures. Let's use the word mistake.
But that's what I'm saying, right? Like, I would not change what I'm experiencing in my life right now for anything.
For anything. So, you felt like everything works together for good.
Everything works together for good. To them who love God, to them who've been called according to his purpose. Like, everything works together for his good. If anything changed, think about it. If one thing was different, even off by a millimeter, the outcome could have been different.
Absolutely.
And so, so let me think about, are there lessons?
Let's say it this way.
If there's lessons that I wish I got earlier?
Perhaps, yeah. Lessons you wish you got earlier.
I wish I learned how to articulate my value. Okay.
Wow.
So they were willing to create a role for me that supported my gift, leveraging my gift and my talent. They were willing to create a role for me. And what I learned from that was, I was looking for things that already existed. Yeah. And sometimes I think we get caught up in that. We are looking for something that makes sense. Okay. I'm just going to try a test right now. Okay. I am your employer. Okay. I really want people to take this seriously. You have to put something in the chat. And you and I are sitting down. And I put a job in front of you. Like, I just put a role in front of you, and I ask you, what are you worth? I want everyone to drop a number in the chat. I'm going to ask, what are you worth? Put a number in the chat.
Guys, let's go. Put a number. How much are you worth? Priceless. 140K, 200K per annum, 200K, 150K.
Keep going.
We have 106 people. 6 billion. I can't monetize my words. Priceless, 20K. Like, I think maybe you wanted to write 200K, 20K, 200K per annum. Priceless, negotiable. Keep going. We have 106 people, 250K per annum, unlimited. I don't think anyone could actually pay me what I'm truly worth. No price can amount to all this greatness. Priceless. Value is not about money.
Okay. So for everyone that wrote, let me just go through some. Hold on. I'm going to just
take your time.
Pull up the chat. Hold on a second. So I'm going to call people out. Okay, so okay, Kike Joda, are you willing to come off mute and come on camera?
Yeah, so don't come on camera.
Yeah.
Hi.
Okay.
Good evening.
Yeah, great evening. So no, because I'm here, this is a masterclass, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So you said priceless. Explain to me why.
Yes.
Why are you priceless?
Okay. I said priceless because I believe that it depends on how I market myself or how I brand myself. So to one person, I may worth $50. To another person, I may worth 1 million. So there is no price placed on me, but it has to do with how I project my self-worth and my branding.
So would you really, I just want to be, so if you go for a job interview,
Okay.
and they say, what kind of salary are you looking for? What would you say to them?
Okay. My response would be from the position of the training I got from Musita. And it would be that I believe the position I'm applying for has a price range, has a salary range. And of course, I won't go for the low rank because I know it has a weight range. So I would always opt for the highest range for that particular role because I applied for that role.
Okay. So I'm asking you for permission to leverage what you just said for how we typically deal with most of our lives. Okay. We work within ranges that feel acceptable. And we work within that parameter. And a lot of times, because we think that we have to stay within this parameter, we don't venture outside of it. We don't actually even try to put ourselves outside of that parameter because we want to settle for I'm just being honest, we're willing to settle for what's in it. And I'm going to be very honest with you. I'm saying this with love. That's desperation. Because you don't want to hear no. Fear.
That's correct.
Fear. But imagine, I'm just, again, submitting for consideration, right? What I've recognized from what I should have done, because they gave me the language that I didn't even know. The person who reports up to the president was like, why didn't you come and talk to me? I was like, I didn't know. I didn't actually know that I could, right? And then it was like, what do you want? Me, what do I want? What do you want? Ask me what I want. And I tried to stay within the parameters of what I thought, even though they're asking me and I'm in the position of power, right? I didn't want to, how could I ask for something that they couldn't, that there's no way that they couldn't? And guess what? That's exactly what they wanted me to do. And so I share all of that to say that the biggest mistake I've made in my career, and it could be with anything, is always staying within certain parameters so that either I don't get a no, either it, maybe I don't want to come off sounding too cocky. I don't know, whatever it is. Maybe it's because, there's fear. But I'm trying to say that when you step outside of the parameters of what others think is possible for your life, that's where you start to hit heights that you never even thought were coming. I'm just being really, really honest. And typically, I recognize in my life, it's about value. It's about the value that we put on ourselves. And there was no right or wrong answer to this, but what I want to actually see is that most people did what most people do. Is we put up salary. If you go here and look at the average answers, you're gonna see like 150, 200K, 250, because that is what we think is like an average salary. And I'm telling you, there's nothing average about you. There's nothing average about your value. And when you can lock into that, you'll blow your mind. You'll blow your mind on what is possible. And so if that was anything, it was that I didn't think I was walking around with average value thoughts. And it's really important. Like knowing your value is hugely important. And yeah, that's one thing. The other one I would say is in the space of uncertainty, bet on yourself.
Bet on yourself.
You can never go, when you are uncertain, don't go and talk to this person and that person and this person. Like, don't try it. Uncertainty, you need to bet on yourself. You yourself and you yourself, like, and meaning you can get yourself to certainty. And sometimes it's just as simple as start to ask yourself, what are some things about yourself that you're so certain about? You know your name, you know your age, you know your birth date, because uncertainty and certainty can't live together in the same space. Uncertainty just means that you're just not in clarity. And so just get to clarity with things that you know. And as you start to feel certain again, and you're in clarity, then guess what? The next best step that you can take will come. But sometimes what happens is when we are uncertain, we stay uncertain, and then we never get to clarity, and then we just don't know what to do, and then we get stressed, we get anxiety, we get all this, that, and the other. So that is my biggest trick. If anyone knows me and knows me really well, I'm not even joking. When I'm feeling uncertain about something, I literally go through this exercise. What's your name? It's in Kechi. How old are you? I'm 50 and fly. When's your birthday? September 8, 1972. What's your mom's maiden name? Wokoro. What's your dad's maiden name? Ajero. I just go through a bunch of things that I'm certain about. Okay, what's the next smartest step to take? Okay, call Gail. Like it just comes to me. I don't even know how to express it. Because in uncertainty, you'll never get to an answer because clarity is just not coming. So when I say in uncertainty, bet on yourself. I mean, use yourself and things that you know about yourself to get you to a space of clarity. And then just ask yourself, what's the next best step? And I promise you, something will come. It could be simply as go to bed early tonight and wake up fresh tomorrow. It could be something as simple as, I don't know. I don't know what it is, but it may not even be anything complex. It could be take the day off tomorrow. Like something's going to come to you that just tells you the next step that you need to take in this particular situation that you're trying to work yourself through. You get what I'm saying?
Okay, you're good. Everyone, you're good.
Yeah.
Get you have a few questions. The first one from the chat is what motivates you every day to get up and do what you do? I have a feeling that you've said some part of it, but maybe the person wants you to dive a bit further. But just to complement that question, Nkechi, because I know your expanse of knowledge. I also want you, as you go through that question, what motivates you every day to get up and do what you do, to tell us your level of energy is explosive. It's explosive. I've been so close to you. And what came into my head, and I have to say this, I'm like, if Nkechi was in that ship, that Titanic ship, it wouldn't have sunk. Like your energy will practically pull that ship up and keep going. That was what actually came to me the first time I felt your energy, like when I was in the same room with you. So tell us, how do you keep this energy going? Are there sometimes you feel energy drop during the day? I mean, for me too, sometimes I feel that way during the day. But how do you get yourself triggered up and be get back to that energy? It doesn't matter if it is 2 o'clock, it's 6 p.m., it's 1 p.m., it's 11 a.m., it's 9 p.m. How do you keep this energy going? Because I mean, if you don't feel well, you can't do well.
Yeah, that's a good one. I like that. Ooh, that's a mic drop. If you don't feel well, you can't do well. Ooh, I like that. So you asked me about motivation. I'm going to try and give more of an answer to help everyone. And again, this is my blueprint. If you don't have a big vision for your life, you'll get easily demotivated. And so what I mean by that is like, well, we all lived the last 2.5 years of quarantine. That demotivated a lot of people. My big vision for my life is to help empower 1 billion people to think in ways that are empowering. And because that vision is so big, COVID couldn't shut it down, right? So the first and foremost is you actually need a big vision for your life. You need a vision that is big. Something like, I don't know what your North Star is. It shouldn't even be something that feels like you really achieve, but you'll what is this? Shoot for the stars and land on the, shoot for the moon and land on, no, shoot for the stars and land on the moon. Yeah.
Let's go.
Something like that. And the reason why that's so important is because it goes back to success is not about feelings. It's not about the external environment that's happening in and around you, right? And so when you have a big vision for your life, when you know that you're striving for something, you tend to be able to handle like even no's, right? Like certain no's will just roll off because you know there's something bigger and more destined for you to achieve, and that no doesn't change that, right? So it's just, and another thing, like you wake up in the morning, oh man, I have to go to the gym, but you're reminded about your big vision and you recognize that there's no days off to get there. And so that pulls you. Your vision should pull you, right? And so remember that your vision should pull you. It'll pull you up off the bed, even when you don't feel it. I do not go to the gym because I feel like it. I do not wake up at 4:10 because I want to. Well, I don't want to. I really don't, but I do because I want to stay true to what who I want to be in this world. So that's about motivation, and then about energy.
Absolutely. I need that spice. I need that spice. Whatever that spice is, I need it.
So my energy for true, okay, has nothing to do with sleep. I promise you. Right now, I'm operating off, I went to bed at 11:30, woke up at 4:10. You do the math, okay? And I've done so much today. I've been downtown. I have a day, and then I'm here giving. I haven't even once I finish here, I'm gonna go upstairs. I'm gonna have a beautiful shower, and I'm gonna relax, and then I'm gonna go to sleep. And when I go to sleep, I'm gonna always write in my gratitude journal. I write 5 things every single day that I'm grateful for. It is hard before I go to bed. Yeah. Yeah, I have gratitude. I can show you all of the journals. I write every single day. It is hard to be hateful when you're grateful. And
absolutely.
And that gives me energy. There's nobody right now, I'm being truly honest, that I'm holding up in my life for anything. Honestly, even my husband, we have our challenges. I'm not holding him up. We have things that we need to work through, but I recognize that they're character building and we'll be stronger when we get through it, but it's just like, I just don't allow life to pin me down. Like I back to return to love. Like my operating system is love. And I will tell you, frustration, resentment, jealousy, unforgiveness, pain, like all of those things weigh you down. They do. They weigh you down. They give you a heavy spirit, and my life is about giving. I believe life births life. I have this insatiable desire to birth life into other people. I tried the motherhood thing, and I'm like, okay, no babies coming from me. But if I meet with like Taiwo, if I meet with Osita, will they, if the next person meets him, say, yo, why are you so excited? He's like, oh man, I just met with Nkechi. I just birthed life into them, And so life births life, and that's who I want to be in this world. And it's contagious. Like I get energized off of it. I don't know that. So so for how you can do it and make it to your blueprint, you really have to be that honest. How does your spirit feel? You know what your spirit feels like. How does it feel? Does it feel good? Does it feel heavy?
I mean, it feels like what the scripture says, that the body is eager, but the spirit is weak. Sometimes, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other way, sometimes it's the other way around. Mm-hmm. Like the body is weak, but the spirit is eager.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I mean, sometimes you could go back and forth, but like sometimes the energy level just drops. So I'm thinking, I mean, I have a lot to read. I have a lot of things to do. I have a lot of people to reach out to. And I'm like, I just need Nkechi's energy. How do I get it? You know, I just need that energy. That's all I need. I mean, I just want to run through it. You know, and so that's why I like.
So let me ask you a question. Who was that B Future? Who's that B Future? B Future. Okay. So okay. And again, I don't know, this might be an epic bomb failure because I'm trying this on the spot. A question just came to me and I want to ask. So Samantha, did I make you feel like going out and running, or did I make you feel good?
Did you make me feel like going out and running?
Like, did I make you feel like going to run a marathon, or did I make you, Samantha, feel good about yourself?
I felt great with the energy that you gave hosting the event, and empowered. And it's just, you know, beautiful to see the greatness in the room and just the energy. So that's what I was feeding off of.
But you didn't feel like going to run a marathon or a triathlon or something, or taking your, right?
No, I did not.
And so the point I'm trying to make is, so it kind of, so let me just, I'm trying this on the spot, like this just came to me. But now the point I was trying to make is like, my energy is not about, that's what I'm saying, it has nothing to do with sleep. It has everything to do with spirit. And just like hurt people, heal people, heal people. Right? And so it's that I have this, I do the work to have a clean spirit so that I can impart that on others. Right? And so that's what it is, because anything else starts to dim your, like, here's this, I'm going to say something else. And this one you're all, this is part of my coaching. I share this with my coach. Darkness is not a thing. Right? We talk about, I feel dark. Darkness is not a thing. Darkness is the absence of light.
Absolutely.
You can't turn down darkness. You can turn up, you could turn up and turn down light. And so your energy is your light. All I just say is, don't ever turn it all the way off. Even if it's dim, you can find your way. Right?
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, Nkechi, this is way, I mean, from my own end, this is way more than a master class. I mean, it's like a doctor's class or something. Thank you so much for diving. I mean, thank you so much. You drove deep. Anyone here, I'm sure everyone is super inspired. Me, myself, like, I'm blown away. I'm typing things, I'm trying to write, I'm listening. The nuggets are deep, very exciting, truly inspirational. I'll ask Nimka to bring you back some other time. I mean, I'm saying it right here publicly. They need to bring you back to the community every now and then. We need to have this kind of motivation. I mean, discipline, because sometimes when we don't hear it over and over again, you know, I mean, they seem to go away. So, I mean, we just need to bring you in. I mean, make our time for us, and, you know, would most likely bring you back in future. But for now, we are out of time. And thank you so much, everyone, for coming in. We'll have about 3 more minutes. So we'll hand over to Osita. Osita. If Osita is still there, Osita,
yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yeah, thank you so very much, Nkechi. I mean, this has been an incredible session for sure. One thing that we need more within our community is inspiration. And that is why when we discuss about you coming on board to speak to our audience, I say, hey, this is a great idea. Because most time we are buried in tech. You know, we talk about tech all day long, and, you know, sometimes we forget about some of these nuggets, some of these soft skills, some of these inspirations. And truly, you know, that is why meditation is key. You know, one of the things I know for sure you also talked about was meditation, you know, quiet time. Sometimes you want to sit and kind of think through things and get some clarity. You know, I just want to use this opportunity to, you know, to encourage some of our audience, especially the newcomers as well. You know, you are new, you probably just landed last week, last month, and everything is kind of looking different. Back in Nigeria, back in Africa, you know, you had that mindset that once you come to Canada, the job is there. You know, the moment you land at the airport, the job is there waiting for you. But here you are, 1 month is gone, 2 months is gone, and you're asking, hey, what's going on? Where are the jobs? What Nkechi is saying to you tonight is you have to keep what? Keep pushing. You can never quit because quitters are never winners, right? You must keep going. You must keep going. You must keep going. Remember what you talked about consistency. Consistency is key. For her to be waking up by 4:10, it simply means the body clock have adjusted itself such that, you know, even if she sleep by 12 or by 11, she still wakes up by that 4:10. Why is it so? Consistency, right? You are applying for jobs and you are getting rejection emails. What do? Do you stop? You have to continue. Consistency, right? What you need is just one yes. Just one yes, and that is it for you, right? So let's continue, because I know some of us at this point, you might probably be like, hey, what is going on here? You know, I've applied for a couple of jobs. I've not really been able to get my break. What we are saying tonight is consistency. And remember to seek for help. Nkechi also talked about it. Have someone that you can always call upon, right? When, you know, the chips are down, during your low moment, you want to reach out to someone that will encourage you. Encouragement and motivations are key in this journey. That is the truth, right? Ask any Black Tech alumni or student here, they will tell you, you cannot go through Black Tech and lack encouragement and motivation. It's part of, like, we give it like 3 pills, right? Morning, afternoon, and night. It's important because you need it. Sometimes, you know, you're in the program, all of a sudden you're like, I can't continue. I can't just go on with this. Oh, this is tough. But you have to set your eyes on the big picture, right? Once you do, you have to keep going, right? Giving up is never an option. Nkechi says something powerful again. In the journey of life, you either win or you learn. You win or you learn. You win or you learn. It's about mindset. Nkechi, thank you so very much tonight. We really appreciate you coming on board. You know, it's been an incredible session, you know, having you in our midst and sharing this nugget with us. Ladies and gentlemen, can we appreciate Nkechi, please? Feel free, unmute yourself, right? Make some noise, because Nkechi will not want you to start, you know, dropping the chat. Make some noise!
Thank you.
Now, no, guys. Guys, you guys are falling my hand tonight. This feedback you've just given right now is for the moderator, right? This is not Nkechi kind of feedback. Not Nkechi kind of energy. You know what I'm talking about. What you've just done is for the moderator. Now, I want you to give it to Nkechi. Make some noise.
Yes.
E for energy.
I love you guys. That was very powerful. That was really powerful. Wow, that was a massive.
Thank you so very, very much. I really appreciate it. We really appreciate you coming on board. And of course, we also want to extend, you know, once again, congratulations to you on that new job. We have no doubt that you're going to go there to continue to rep us. There's no doubt about it, right? We are looking forward to the great things that you're going to be accomplishing in the couple of weeks ahead. We have no doubt about it. You know that for sure, that you talk about there's nothing like darkness, right?
Yeah.
Darkness is simply absence of light. So go in there with your light. That's what, go in there and show them how things are done, right? So really appreciate you. Thank you so very much tonight. And, you know, what can we say? Let's continue, guys, to encourage one another. Like you've had all this from Nkechi. Remember, she also made a comment. When you study, you learn. What do?
When you get, you give. When you learn, you teach.
Right? Today, you've been empowered. You've been motivated. What do? Go back and do the same to everyone around you, right? If you have a spouse, do that to your spouse. If you have other colleagues, do that as well. Whatever WhatsApp group or Telegram group you belong, let there be positive energy. Let's empower each other, right? The more empowerment we give, the more the world is a better place. And that is what we all want to see. All right. Thank you so very much, every one of us. I know the time is fast spent. It's already 9:33 here. And let's allow Nkechi to go because she needs to go up and take some very nice shower, as she said it, right? All right.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you so very much,
shower.
Nkechi.
Bye.
Thank
Take
you.
care. Take care. Bye-bye.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
Nkechi.
Bye.
Okay, so we can stop the recording, guys.